Good morning, ma'am. My name is Tejashwini. I'm from second CSCA. I'd like to present my web technologies project for course activity 2. For course activity 1, I did a static web page that is a Starbucks clone website. Now I'd like to show you that the front end of it. This is the front end of my application where there is a home page, menu page, and sign in page, and there is also sign up page in case if the user is a new one. Now for the course activity 2, I decided to connect a backend. For that, I used MySQL Workbench, Tomcat server, and servlets. For that, I need to write a servlet which will authenticate the username and password. So for storing the authenticated usernames and passwords, I used MySQL Workbench database and a table in it. So this is the folders in which I used XML file and Java files and the servlets. So here, this is the web.inf folder. In web.inf folder, I need to put web.xml, which is used to mapping of servlets and the HTML file. This is the classes where the Java file of servlet and its dot class file is there. Now let me show you one by one. User authentication occurs after the submission of sign-in form. So for the backend, I linked it with sign-in HTML document. I'll show you the code. This is the sign-in form, sign HTML code where there is a header, and here you can see I created a form with the name F and method post action Starbucks servlet. Starbucks servlet is nothing but the servlet I created which does the user authentication. Method post, you can see a method do post in the servlet code for the, it is used to execute that do post method. So here I gave names for the input blanks of username and password, and I named it with username and password. It will be used later, in which we can fetch the text that user entered in that particular blanks. Now I created the login form. Now I have to map the login form to servlet. Like after submission of that login form, this servlet will be called. For that web.xml is used. Here is the code. I need to enter the servlet name, servlet dot class name, and servlet here for the servlet mapping I have to enter servlet name and URL pattern, and welcome file is nothing but the HTML file after which this cookie servlet will be invoked. In this classes folder, I'll place Java file in it. This is the Java file. Here I imported the required packages, IO, UTL, servlet, servlet.htdp and SQL. And this is the class name Starbucks servlet. Here is the do post method I was talking about. Here there are response and request objects created. This is where I fetched the text username and password from the signin.html with their names. And here I will create a I'll get a connection with this drive manager get connection method, where this is the user database name, and this is my username, and this is the password for MySQL. Here I'll create a statement stm, and I will execute in such a way that fetch the I'll fetch the username and password from the signin.html and compare them with each of the records in my table. This is the statement that will do that. So after this, I'll store this result in the rs object. So if rs.next, that means there is something in rs, then I'll invoke success.html. In that I'll place your order placed, or welcome to Starbucks, or like that. If there is no match, that means the user is not an authenticated user. So I'll tell the servlet to open failure.html, in which I'll warn the user that you are not authenticated. This is the code. After this, I'll place the whole folder in this particular way. Like after opening this, I'll have a web-inf and the sign in HTML. After opening this, I'll have a web.xml and classes. In the classes, Java file and .class file. .class file will come after compiling this Java file. And I'll place this whole course activity 2 folder in the Tomcat web apps folder. I'll show you. Apache Software Foundation, Tomcat, and here you can see web apps. I'll paste it here. I already did. So this is the folder I was talking about, course activity 2. After pasting this, you need to just start up the Tomcat server. After doing this, you should go to browser and type localhost and port number. My port number is 4040. Your Tomcat has started. And then I'll go to course activity 2 folder, and in that I'll open home.html website. After this, go to browser and type localhost 4040, where 4040 is my port number. And now I'll type course activity 2.home.html. And this is the project that I deployed in the Tomcat. And now if you go to menu page and if you try to order something, it will ask you to sign in. So now I'll give first. Now let me show you what are the users and passwords that I stored in my database. This is the SQL Workbench, and this is the UserDB. UserDB is the database that I use, and this is the table user, and I'll show you. So these are the usernames and passwords that are supposed to be authenticated. Now we'll check this. So if I give Teja as username and Teja123 as password, now I'll click sign in. Since the username and password that I given is authenticated, I got welcome to Starbucks, your order is placed. If I click a wrong password, let's type some random things. And if I click on the sign in, it will give wrong user credentials because the username and password that I gave are not in the database. So this is the project that I have done. Thank you.